Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome to another edition of What's in the Bag, Jay. Now, this is the segment where I pick 6 movies from my collection that I haven't seen, write their names on a piece of paper, draw 2 out at random, and do 2 reviews, since we're still in quarantine. Returning from last week is Plague, Hellgirl, He Never Died, and special thanks to Hob, The Curse of Lilith Ratchet. Now making its debut this week, of course, another special thank you to Hobbs, is Astro Zombies M3 Cloned. This should be a fun one. And Zombies. And I do believe this is the son of George Romero, Cameron Romero, says Tony Todd. Should be interesting. Alright, let's see what we pick out this week. Give the bag a good tussle here. Selection 1 is Astro Zombies M3 Cloned. Selection 2 Zombies. Okay, that was interesting. I'm going to set these aside while I set all the other movies side by side by side. And take my trusty Freddy vs. Jason die. Just remember, if it rolls a Freddy vs. Jason or a 5, I have to roll again. A 2. Alright. Let's give the bag another good shake. Let's pick out 2 from here. First selection is Plague. Since I drew out 2 at the same time. Second selection is Hellgirl. Now, if you want to see He Never Died or The Curse of Lilith Ratchet, be sure to vote. Right now, I'm going to go watch Astro Zombies M3 Cloned and Zombies and come back with reviews for both later. Well, I'm back. I just watched Zombies, and here are my thoughts. Zombies is a 2017 film which runs approximately 85 minutes and is written and directed by Hamid, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Torapour. Now, he's known for being mostly a producer. I do believe this was his first feature film. Now, the producer on this movie is Cameron Romero, which is George Romero's son. Now, he's mostly a producer. I looked up a lot of what he's done. He did direct Staunton Hill and Radical. Now, this stars Tony Todd as Detective Summers. He was, of course, in Candyman 1 through 3, Candy Corn, and Hellfest. Stephen Luke as Luke. That was pretty creative. He was in War Pigs, Wonderland, and Dust of War. And Raina Hine as Benna. She was in Masquerade and Bat Romance. Now, this had a $4.1 million budget. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've never had a movie make me madder than this one, to be honest. Now, I'm going to explain to you why. This doesn't have a story. This is basically people killing zombies and trying to stay alive, which some people will say, well, that's a story. Not really. Things happen in this movie, but you're not exactly sure why they happen. It's almost like you've picked it up in the middle somewhere. Like this was supposed to be the middle of a trilogy or something, and all these characters are established. Stuff happens and you don't understand why it's happening. Now, the reason why it makes me mad, other than the fact that it doesn't really have a story, is because this movie has a ton of potential. As far as the $4.1 million, they used it mostly for probably location, paying the actors, and, a little bit of the blood and gore. The zombies don't look that great, but, you have to be honest with yourself when you watch this. Not every movie is going to look like The Walking Dead. So, the zombies move around well. The acting is pretty decent. And Tony Todd, rather than having a 20-second appearance in a horror film, actually has a decent part in this movie. And that's kind of why it makes me mad, because this movie has all the potential in the world. You have your main guy, who is Luke, played by Stephen Luke. Yeah, like I said, real creative. And he is like a martial arts guy who is... In the beginning, he's in jail with his best friend. You're not really sure why, but they let him out, and he goes and starts killing zombies to rescue people. Okay. Well, he runs across this lady with an eye patch who is supposed to be his arch nemesis, but you have a feeling that they do each other in the past somewhere. Anyway, he ends up killing her, and he ends up hooking up with these two sisters who are trying to get back to their father. And you have a feeling that this guy used to go out with one of the sisters. Like I said, a lot is implied, but not much is explained in this movie, and that's why it's so frustrating. I think they had a really good concept. They had the money to make a really good film. They hired some really good actors, but they just kind of maybe didn't try. I don't know. And I mean, obviously the director knew how to point a camera. I just don't get it. This one, I wasn't expecting much out of it because I did get this from the dollar store, but I want to say I'm impressed, but it doesn't have a story. So I don't really know if I can recommend it. I mean, if you like seeing people kill zombies and you're not really sure why, then give it a shot. But yeah, very strange movie. But yeah, I'll be back in a few with the second review. Alright, I'm back with the second review. This one is for Astro Zombies M3 Cloned. And this is the director's cut, and this is done by the late Ted Mickles. And that's whose autograph I have up there. And a big thanks to Hobbs for trading me with this stuff. I'm kind of honored to have this guy's autograph, even though he made a lot of schlock movies. I don't know, it feels neat. So, but anyway, Astro Zombies M3 Cloned is a 2010 film, which is written and directed by the late Ted V. Mickles. He died on October 16th, 2016, at the age of 81. He did Dimension and Fear and The Doll Squad. But there's more, and I'll explain that in a little bit. I finally figured out what The Doll Squad was as well, so... Now this stars Fletcher Sharp as Randolph. He was in Killer Biker Chicks, White Paint, and Red Herring. Francine York as Sabrina. She was in The Family Man and The Big Tease. And Sean Morelli as MIB Captain. He was in Killer's Mind and The Bravest Days. Now here's what I have to explain about this movie. I'm very unfamiliar with Astro Zombies in general, but this is a series that's been going on since 1968, and I had no idea. Now, I knew there was an Astro Zombies, an older movie. Apparently that was done by Ted Mickles as well. This is actually the third in a 4-film series, which, of course, research and all that kind of stuff. The first one was called Astro Zombies. That was in 1968. It had John Carradine in it, the late John Carradine. The second one is Mark of the Astro Zombies, and it's kind of a little confusing whether it's a reboot or a sequel. A lot of people say it's a sequel. Some people say it's a reboot. I've never seen it, so I don't really know. Never seen the original either. Now, this is the third in the series, Astro Zombies M3 Cloned, and there's a fourth one called Astro Zombies M4. Now, in the beginning of this film, you get sort of a backstory about how these Astro Zombies were created just to kill. And then space people come, and this is going to be very scattered because this movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a lot of spots. See, I picked 2 movies this week that really don't make a lot of sense, but that's okay. So, lizard spacemen come, and they have to resurrect the Astro Zombies in the second one to get rid of the lizard spacemen. Apparently they come back, and they have to resurrect them once more. Now, we're on M3 Cloned. What they're saying is they're doing experiments after they dig up the remains of the Astro Zombies from the first 2 films. They're telling them that they have to get them ready because there may be the aliens coming back, the lizard men, even though they're not. The government just basically wants them as a weapon. So, the person who is, the scientist who is trying to resurrect the Astro Zombies is trying to do it from her own perspective. So she's trying to teach them. She's reading them children's books. She's, telling them what dogs are, what cows are, what animals are, and stuff like that. Now, the government, like I said, only wants them to kill. Apparently, she is ousted from the project, and they make them in order to go around killing people once again. And then we have the Doll Squad, who I've never really even heard of, except for when I was doing research for this film. Apparently, they are a bunch of beautiful women in very tight spandex-looking outfits who are defenders of the world, or something like that. And they have to get rid of the Astro Zombies. Now, this movie is terrible. It is awful. I wanted to say a special thank you to Hobbs, and I don't mean it like that, but special thank you to Hobbs for doing this trade so I could get this movie. This movie is really entertaining, even though it's awful. It's very low budget. The acting's very cheesy. You're noticing mistakes in the film, like the Doll Squad towards the end has these arrows that they have to blow into the Astro Zombies to blow them up. And you even see a girl put one in the wrong way into the tube. It's just ridiculous. But, as I said before, it is entertaining. I don't know if I can recommend this because it's really not a good movie, and starting at the third part of a quadrilogy is probably not ideal in order to review something, but that's kind of just how it is because I don't have any of the other films. So, but yeah, don't forget to vote for the ones that didn't make it. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.